Welcome to Aslan Speaks, episode 18, How to Stop Self-Sabotage. I want to talk to you today about self-sabotage. I'm here to impart or share some knowledge with you. This knowledge can change your life. I hope you will find the information I share in this video informative. And hopefully this information will help you. Yes, hopefully it will help you become a greater version of yourself or a better version of yourself. That's my mission, is to help those, even if you don't realize you needed the help. Some people are perfect and they don't need it. Some people needed the help, but they didn't really intuitively know that they needed to fix anything in themselves. So I'm trying to help and share or impart knowledge with you. So in one of my episodes on this channel, on my YouTube channel, I talked briefly about self-sabotage, but I want to dive a little deeper today. We are our worst enemies. Yep, that's correct. We are our worst enemies. A lot of times, it's not other people affecting our lives in a positive or negative way. It is us. Yes, it is you. It is us. It is ourselves affecting our own lives in a positive, negative way. And how do we do that? It is through our thoughts and actions. It's how we carry ourselves in our lives. It's the decisions we make in our lives. That's why in previous videos I mentioned the importance of filtering or controlling your thoughts and actions. Most everybody in the world or in your life at some point have self-sabotaged yourself. Some self-sabotage themselves consciously, and some have self-sabotaged themselves subconsciously. But it's time for us to learn from our mistakes. It is time for you to learn from your mistakes. Do you learn from your mistakes, or do you repeat them over and over again? Do you repeat the mistakes in your life, or do you learn from them and don't allow them to happen again? That's crucial. That's how you know that you're growing and becoming a better and better version of yourself, or growing into higher and higher states of consciousness and awakening, is when you stop making the same mistakes over and over again, and you start transcending or moving past your old mistakes or old behaviors or old thinking. That's one of the signs that you're on the path to awakening, is when you start, back in the day you do or think something over and over again, and that was your pattern. And then when you start to awaken and apply knowledge and insight, you start to make better decisions or positive based decisions. So in life, all humans, even you, have been thrown a curveball or two. We have been thrown curveballs, and those curveballs in our life are different situations or different events. Some of those situations or events are caused by others. Yes, there's outside factors that influence your life. But I want you to realize one of the most important things. Yes, this is very important. That there are countless obstacles and limitations placed in your life by you. What? There's constant obstacles, or countless obstacles and a whole bunch of limitations in my life, and I place them there? Yes, you place limitations on yourself. How do you do that? Have you ever said to yourself, I can't do this? Or there's some children who hop on a bike and they can ride it, and there's some children like, I can't ride this bike. They're putting that limitation on them. Just like some people say, I'm not worthy of this job. I'm going to work for low pay the rest of my life because I don't have a college degree. I'm not worthy of making $100,000 a year. Well, through your thoughts, or through your thought, you were placing on yourself the limitation of only working for a small amount of money because you didn't go to college, Learn to recognize when you're putting limitations or obstacles in your way. Because when you put limitation and obstacles through your thoughts and actions in your way, you are self-sabotaging you or self-sabotaging your success. Guys, when you awaken and are on the path of enlightenment, one of the things that I learned is that I used to self-sabotage myself all the time. That's right. I'm not perfect, and I self-sabotage myself, or I used to all the time. Occasionally now I still do it because I'm not 100% conscious of all my thoughts at every moment of the time, but I try. But so here's one of the ways I used to self-sabotage myself. And a lot of it was with money. Is that I grew up poor in a poor family, and we didn't have much. So that programming, growing up poor and not having much, was instilled into me, and I grew up with the thought or pre-programming from my parents that I'm poor and I have lack of abundance, lack of wealth. That I'm always fighting for that next dollar. And for years and for years, I would say things like, "Oh, I'm broke. I can't afford this." Until I realized one day that I was self-sabotaging myself. And now I can afford this. I can go spend money here and there or buy the things I dream of. Yes, I'm not no millionaire, but I do have abundance in my life. And it's all how I changed my thinking. It's how I changed my habits. Some of my lack of wealth is because I was self-sabotaging myself, doing things that sabotaged my wealth. Such as back in the day, I used to smoke a lot of pot. And that pot used to cost a lot of money. And so, like 1/5 of my income would go towards feeding my addiction. Do you have any addictions that your wealth or your paycheck goes to keep funding, and you keep paying for? Well, in a way, if you're doing that, you're self-sabotaging your wealth, or you're self-sabotaging your wealth or yourself. Or your success. Now, I'm not trying to judge anybody. If you have an addiction and that makes you happy, if you're drinking or doing some form of drugs and that makes you good or happy, that's all power to you. We all have free choice. We have the choice to choose what path we want. But if you're choosing to be your better self, or you want more wealth and abundance so you could buy your own house or have a nice car or fancy clothes or be able to take yourself out to those nice restaurants, then learn what limitations and obstacles you're placing in your way, or what actions and thoughts you're doing to self-sabotage yourself. One of the main things with wealth and abundance is I see many people go to a local tavern and they say, "Hey, I want a brand new car. I want a house. I want to go on this fancy vacation, but I can't afford it. I'm always broke. Nothing good will happen to me." Because that's the thoughts that they're programming into themselves or into their own mind. Well, how are they self-sabotaging themselves? Because all those things they want them, but yet where are they? They are at a tavern spending their hard-earned money, drinking it and paying for the alcohol. And I've seen people spend hundreds of dollars a week at the tavern. And then they come to me and say, "Yeah, I still want this, I want that," but yet they can never achieve it. It seems how they're grasped. Because their drinking or their addiction is self-sabotaging their wallet or their wealth. It's sad sometimes because some people don't realize it. Me, I go to a tavern, yes, I socially drink here and there, but I go with a budget. I don't go every day. Sometimes there's months before I go out to the bars. I get upset with myself if I blow $100 at the bar. Because if you spend $100 at the bar, you're just drinking it down, getting drunk, having fun, woohoo. But guess what? You wake up in the morning and you realize, hey, I could have spent that $100 on a new pair of shoes. Or that was my cell phone payment. Or that was $100 towards my next vacation. I see people spend $100 a week at a tavern. And if they just chose not to go to that tavern for 2 months and save that $100, they would have maybe, let's say, $1,000 to $2,000 in their bank account, and they could go onto that week's vacation, or they could put a down payment on their new car. It's all about how you view your life. What thoughts and actions are you doing? Let me repeat that, guys. What thoughts and actions are you doing in your life to propel you towards success? Are you self-sabotaging yourself, doing things or thinking things or performing actions that in a way self-sabotage you or hold you back in your life? Or are you thinking and doing actions that push you forward in your life to help you become the best version of yourself, to help you achieve your goals and dreams? You know, another way I self-sabotage myself with this YouTube channel. I'm a big believer in intuition, and for years, I would tell myself, hey, I should create a YouTube channel. You know, I'm going to grow it big, and I'm going to share wisdom and knowledge with people. But guess what? For years, I didn't create that YouTube channel because I was self-sabotaging myself with thoughts of fear. I was fearful. Like thoughts like, oh, you'll never, my channel will never get big. I'm not that creative. Who would listen to me? Just all these negative self-doubt thoughts that would self-sabotage me. And then also one of the thoughts that would self-sabotage me is, oh, I'll do that next month. I'll create a YouTube channel next month. And then a month comes around and, hey, I'll do it next week. Well, always pushing it. Guess what? It took me 2 years after the initial thought to create a YouTube channel. But now, usually when I have an idea, I act upon it now. I'm to the point with self-awareness of myself that I know when I'm self-sabotaging myself, and I choose to instantly correct myself. Like my mind is like a giant sailing vessel on the ocean. And the minute through a negative thought or action and my sailboat goes off, steers for my success, I recognize it and I steer it back on course by changing my thought or changing my action to put me on the path of success. You know, one of the ways people self-sabotage themselves is in relationships. And I've seen this personally happen to me where somebody personally cared deeply for me and wanted to be with me. But how she self-sabotaged our relationship is she was also addicted to she had a party mentality. She always liked to go out and party or go to social events where there was drugs and alcohol. And she was on the fence between me and the drugs and alcohol. And eventually the drugs and alcohol led her astray. And, you know, certain times you can't keep holding on to somebody that chooses negative patterns and negative beliefs or negative ideas to run them astray. You gotta let them go. You gotta let them hit rock bottom on their own and find out for themselves. You know, you can only help so many people, and I help people, but at the end of the day, they're gonna make that thought or action in their mind. You can't do that for them. People have free will. So what I've learned is, if my intuition tells me to help someone, I will. But most often, I just let people go on their own way and they're on their own journey because we are all on our own journey. Now, like I said, but this person that was in my life, she cared about me and she could have chose to be with me, you know, and have a happy, awesome, romantic partner and romantic relationship and have a really blissful life. I would have moved mountains for her, you know, and still in this way, I still would. You know, I still love this person to this day. But she chose a different path, and I could not, you know, when I was younger, I would self-sabotage. I even self-sabotaged that relationship through my thoughts and actions, or through my fear-based thinking. Oh, she doesn't love me. That was one of them. Like, oh, she loves me, but she must love this other person, or she's not calling or texting me right now. So her affection must be placed in someone else. That fear-based thinking. You attract what you think, guys. I repeat that. You attract what you think. Fear, so try to remove fear-based thinking, So I was self-sabotaging it because I was thinking all these fearful thoughts, and then someone was manifested into my relationship. Some of those fear-based thinking, or my actions, or my fear-based actions, pushed this woman that I cared or loved for farther and farther away from me. So there's always two sides of a coin, guys. I could talk to you for days that, hey, this person that cared for me, she self-sabotaged our relationship. She did or said things or did actions that self-sabotaged our relationship to drive me away. But I can also look at it as I did the same thing. So your thoughts and actions are one of the biggest things in your life that are very important. A lot of us give our power away. We give our power away? I want to teach you one of the coolest things. We are powerful beings. That's right. We are powerful beings. What gives us so much power is our power of thought, our power of thinking. If a million humans on this planet, or let's say a million Americans, chose to boycott Nike I can't even say that. I'm going to edit that out. Choose to boycott a certain company for, let's say, a month. We would bankrupt them by choosing not to buy that product. We give our power away to others hoping that they will help us. But if you look at our modern society, we've given our power away so badly that now the people in power are just treating us like we're nothing, that we're peons. So we self-sabotaged ourselves by giving our power away, thinking, oh, this person knows best, or hey, this person will speak up. I'm not going to speak up. This person is going to speak up. I'm not going to vote. This person's going to vote. Through your thoughts and actions, my friends. I know I'm rambling on, because this video is off the cuff. I'm intuitively speaking to you. So basically this video is about self-sabotage and how you are your worst enemy. So are there any things that you do in your life that affects your life negatively? Is there a limitation thinking or lack-based thinking in your mind? Are there actions or deeds that you do that don't make you happy and just bring you down in your life? Learn to rise above lack-based thinking. Change your thinking. Yes, change your thinking. Change your behavior. Change the action, and there'll be a different reaction. Woo, that just came out of nowhere. Change the action, and there will be a different reaction in your life. I don't hold all the answers. So I always tell you guys it's free will. So if you choose the path that you're on and you're happy and content with it, then that's your path. But if you're on a path in life and you're like, hey, I could do better, then choose to go the other path. For example, one of my, I love being healthy. And throughout my life, I battled with being healthy because I would do actions that went against my health. And one of those actions was I was a smoker. I love nicotine. And I'm nicotine free right now because I managed to quit again. But back in the day, I would quit, start up. And then I'm thinking like, man, I'm self-sabotaging my own health by smoking nicotine. And then when I quit, I realized what was the factor that would cause me to smoke again. And that was when I would go out to the bars or party and you have some alcohol in me, I would drink and then I would give in because I wasn't in my higher self. My higher self or my conscious self wasn't driving or steering the ship. My lower nature was steering the ship because I was under the influence and I gave in to nicotine. So that was like a trigger. Was alcohol would trigger me to want to smoke a cigarette. So in quitting, like this time around, I quit and I realized, hey, you know what? I realized smoking was, I was self-sabotaging my health by smoking, but I was also self-sabotaging myself by drinking, because drinking alcohol would trigger me to want to smoke a cigarette. So now I cut out smoking and I cut out drinking. You know, and it's all about realizing what triggers you. You know, like certain people, they don't have problem with alcohol or going out partying, but maybe they go around a certain person that triggers them in a negative mindset or in a sad or depressed mindset, and they're triggered by that person, so they go out to the bar and get wasted because they want to suppress or numb their feelings. Well, then you got to realize that person's a trigger for you, and just don't go around that person anymore. Learn to cut out toxic people. Learn to avoid the triggers that cause you to self-sabotage your success or your happiness. What makes you happy? Have you actually sat down and thought, what makes you happy? Ask yourself what people in your life make you happy and what people in your life don't make you happy. The people that make you happy, surround yourself with them. And the people that don't make you happy, remove them from your life. You are all divine beings, and you're creating your reality. You're creating the situations, the obstacles, the limitations, or your success. I became very successful the minute I started changing my thinking and my actions. I stopped procrastinating. I stopped sitting on the couch and